Hey guys, it's Cthulthu here. So today I'm making this video because I wanted to talk about the blog that Jagex posted about the combat level changes they're going to be making when the evolution of combat gets released. Now, if you don't know, the new combat level is going to be level 200 at maximum, and it's going to be calculated by combining your defense level, your best other skill, and those will be between attack, strength, range, and mage, and then also +2. So if your highest skill between attack, strength, mage, and range is going to be level 70 range, let's say, and let's say your defense level is level 99, then the calculation will be level 70 plus level 99 plus 2. So your combined combat level will therefore be 171. Now, lots of people are complaining about this update because it misrepresents how overall strong you are. On one hand, you might have a 99 mage or a 99 defender, so he seems to be level 200 combat. On the other hand, you could have a fully maxed out player with you know, lots of multiple options. You know, they can switch to range, to melee, and yeah, I mean, there's a huge gulf between these two players, or at least there seemingly is a huge gulf between these two players, and yet when it comes to combat level, they seem like they're equally strong, when that isn't the case. Now, that's how lots of people are thinking, and now I want to put a different idea in your head. I think that what Jagex are trying to do is they're trying to change the definition of combat level. When you think of a combat level, you think of someone's overall strength within the skills of range, mage, and melee. And I think that that's actually a hugely flawed system, and I think Jagex have also realised that this is a flawed system, because at the end of the day, you can't use mage and range at the exact same time. You cannot fire a ranged arrow, and you cannot fire a firebolt at the exact same time. So never are those two skills working together at the exact same time. You have to choose. You have to choose between range or mage. You can't use both at the same time. You use one or you use the other. And that's why combat level misrepresents your actual power level at that moment in time. Because even though your combat level may be boosted by your 99 range skill, that has no relevance to you in a certain situation where you may only be maging, for example. So, to give you an actual proper example, let's say we're at Dagonoth Kings and I'm killing the Dagonoth Rex. I may be a level 138 with 99 range, mage, etc., all level 99s, but the only two skills that really matter to me are my defense and my magic level. And then a level 90 walks in, he also has 99 mage and defense. I don't have a single amount of, you know, I don't have any advantage against this player. This player is doing the exact same damage output as I am, and he's got the exact same resilience that I have, and yet there are 48 levels of combat between us. And that is because I'm not able to utilise those 48 combat levels that I have on him. Because in this situation, all that is necessary is my magic level and my defense level, and his are the exact same, even though he is 48 levels beneath me. And this is a huge flaw that Jagex have identified, that I have now noticed myself as well, and I think this is what Jagex ultimately want to change. I think what combat level now represents is your base damage. So when I say base damage, I mean the damage that you're going to do with a bow or with a sword without any gear, without it being a special sword or bow, so just I don't know, your most basic weapon possible, and also without any prayers, no familiars, nothing to help you whatsoever. I think that is what I would call base damage attack, or base DPS, let's say, because I think that might be easier. So your base DPS is going to be without gear, without, you know, prayer levels or familiars, etc. And I think that's going to be the same for everybody. So every level 200 combat player will have the same base DPS, regardless of whether you're using magic, ranged, or attack and strength, as long as they are the same levels in those skills. So in other words, if I was to hit a player with a bronze dagger and deal 300 damage while having 99 attack and strength, so basically 99 melee, let's call it, then I would be doing the same base damage as somebody using an airstrike with 99 magic. And I think that's what Jagex are going for. They want your combat level to represent what your minimum damage output actually is in reality. and everything else is irrelevant. I mean, it is completely irrelevant what my attack stats are, my melee stats are, and it's completely irrelevant what my mage level is when I'm just using range at that given time. And at that given time, I am level 200 combat because I'm dealing the maximum amount of damage I can do as a ranger given the situation. I think that's what Jagex want you to think of a combat level as, and I think we should even rename it. I think it shouldn't be called combat level anymore. I think it should be called power level, because that more accurately represents, that name more accurately represents what Jagex is going for here. And lots of you might be thinking, well, hold on a second, that might be, the base damage, the base DPS that you're dealing might be the same between all level 200 combat players. However, there are other skills that are going to boost that damage, like having 99 prayer. And between two level 99 rangers and 99 defenders who are both level 200 combat, one is still going to have the advantage over the other because one may have 99 prayer while the other one may not. But then you could say the exact same about gear and wealth. Gear is going to have an effect on how strong you are, and so is agility level, and yet neither of those things have any impact on your combat level. I mean, it doesn't really have to, because you can see by just having a look at somebody's combat gear that they're going to be, they're going to have an advantage even though they may be the same level as you. But it's something that, it's still the exact same thing, really. I mean, again, you could have two level 99 rangers and 99 defenders. They're both the exact same combat level, but one has the advantage over the other because they have 99 summoning. But again, you can relate it straight back to the gear. I mean, the gear doesn't affect your combat level, but obviously it gives someone a huge boost. And also, sometimes these things aren't visible. For example, I could have a set of dragon claws in my inventory to claw you out with, or as it will now be called, flurry, and that gives me a major advantage. But you don't know about those dragon claws until I pull them out for the first time. So that is something else that you're not seeing, that is not visible, and I mean it works in the exact same way. So there you go, guys. I mean, what do you think? I think that's what Jagex is going for, and I can see why they're going in that direction, and I think that it makes sense. And overall, I don't think that this new combat level system is something to be unhappy about. It's not something to quit over or anything like that. I think you just have to accept that it is going to be changed, and even though you might miss the current system, never ever think to yourself that the current system is not flawed, because it is hugely flawed. It's the whole DK scenario that I told you about. I could be 48 combat levels higher than somebody else, and it doesn't make a difference given the situation, because if the skills that I'm actually using are the exact same as a player that is 48 combat levels lower than me, then we're both equals despite our combat level, and combat level has become misleading. And the same works for pures. I mean, that's what being a pure is all about. It's about misleading your opponent. You might be, level 90, but you might have 99 attack and strength, and you're far superior to your opponent, but they just don't know that, because outwardly it looks like you're level 99 combat, and you just get mistreated as a lower level, even though in reality you're immensely strong. So yeah, that's it's another way of thinking about it, and another way to show yourselves that the current combat level system is vastly flawed, and this new system is also going to be flawed. But at least you can see that whatever you might complain about not being able to see someone's representation of their 99 summoning and 99 prayer within their combat level, but you're also not going to be able to see what's in their inventory and what overall their gear might be like. And those are all guessing games. At very least, you can look at high scores for those levels, but you're never going to know what surprises could be in your opponent's inventory, and you never know what skills he's going to use. He might surprise you with a skill that you didn't think he was going to use, and I don't think that this new way of calculating combat is going to be a huge problem. At the end of the day, all level 200 combat players are going to have the same base damage, and then what you do to improve on that base damage within your hidden skills, within summoning and prayer, but also your equipment, it's always going to be the same. So yeah, in the same way that someone's gear could be unpredictable, so is their summoning level and their prayer level. But at least those are two things that you can still find out yourself by using the high scores on the website. And yeah, it's not going to be largely, you're not going to be in the dark over these things. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you think that's good reasoning. Tell me if you think that that's actually what Jagex might have been thinking, because of course this is just, me guessing that this is how Jagex were thinking about. We'll have to, hopefully we'll be given some confirmation at some point. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, see you around.